Hello, welcome to another edition of the show, What's Next? Tonight we have on our show a realtor by the name of James Searcy. We will talk with Mr. Searcy in just a minute. We want to let you all know that this is the month of Black History, and we would like for you all to at least find something or someone and be kind to them during Black History Month, because we all need that. Now we'll talk with Mr. Searcy. Mr. Searcy, how are you doing?
My pleasure.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
To the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Searcy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Georgia native. I left Georgia in the mid-'70s, headed out to California to what the other side of the world was about, and joined the Navy while I was out there. And I liked the Navy so much, I stayed in it for about 23 years.
Okay.
So I retired from the Navy in 1999, worked for the government service for about 4 years as an education specialist. And during those times, I got my bachelor's degree and master's in education. Yes, and then I moved back to Georgia in 2004.
Oh.
Down Clayton County.
That's good. Now, what inspired you to become a realtor?
Well, I bought my first home in California in the mid-1990s, and the real estate agent who sold that home to me all during the time that I was staying there, which was several years, the realtor continued to send me just little pieces of information. It didn't have to be too in-depth, just small things about what was going on in the real estate industry around where I lived. At other times, it was just great ideas on how to do things yourself in your home, little recipes and what have you. I really didn't pay any attention as to what it meant at the time, but he did it as a way in keeping in touch with me.
He's trying to lure you into the business. Trying to lure you into the business. Yeah.
But it really worked, because at the time I was ready to sell my home in California, I didn't need to go far at all. I mean, he was always there.
Right.
So I realized that at that time, and immediately got in contact with him. And of course, he provided equally superior service in helping me sell the house.
Oh, good. Now, how long have you been a realtor?
I've been a realtor just over 2 years.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So when you came to Georgia, you went through the education thing.
Oh, yes. Actually, the realtor that inspired me through the years, I didn't know about it at the time, was the one, that was really behind me, going by way of real estate. But there were a few other things, too, that influenced that. When I bought my home here in Clayton County, I'm the founding president of a local homeowners association.
Okay.
So with that, the routine issues that I found myself dealing with, I got familiar with property managers and lawyers and problem solving, in communities and what have you.
That drew you into the business.
That basically heightened my interest that much more so in real estate.
That's good. So, what type of properties do you specialize in?
It was easy for me to choose the subdivisions. I live in a in a subdivision called Peachtree Landing in Ellenwood, and with me being a chief administrator of an association, it just got me into the routine of seeing the kind of things that can happen with subdivisions. But I'm not just limited, of course, to subdivisions. As a Georgia realtor, any residential type dwelling is what I can work with.
So since you have all that background experience and stuff like that, what are some of your greatest strengths in being a realtor?
Well, what I have learned over a couple of years is that one of the greatest strengths is that you have to have the ability to deal with people with different kinds of personalities.
Yeah, definitely.
I have seen people that really didn't want to hear anything from you. They want to tell you, your job.
Yeah.
And so you have to really learn how to be silent at other times. Give
And,
people
and patient.
And patient.
And patient.
Learn to give the people, the input when they need it, but be a good listener, overall. Mm-hmm. I learned early on, working in administration and in human resources, about customer service. So I did that for most of my life.
That was one of your strongest strengths.
Definitely, one of the biggest strengths is that when you're coming in the front door, it's the very last thing that matters when you walk away from that client. At the end, you want to make sure that you have given them the best in customer service.
Right, and that smile.
Absolutely.
And that smile.
That smile.
What do you make of the current challenges in the real estate market right now?
Well, I have to admit, I've not seen anything like it before in my life. Right after I purchased my home, the first wave of something that kind of rocked our subdivision, I'm sure that others around the county, was mortgage fraud. And this was like, it was a crime. And so when I heightened some of my knowledge and skills in getting involved with the county, I joined the Clayton County-wide Homeowners Association, and that became, it was something like an educational conduit that brought us information on a lot of things that affected us and our community. And of course, in the mortgage fraud, once the word got out on that, we started doing workshops and providing other forms of education about it. So that was really the first wave of it. I hadn't heard of the subprime loans, at that time.
What do you believe will turn that situation around with the mortgage fraud and stuff? And mortgage fraud is something.
Well, it's going to take a whole lot of work on the part of us as citizens and getting good education and training to look out for signs of anything that doesn't look right on contracts that we sign. It's going to take significant interaction with our local government. I believe that the local government plays a very strong part in determining who comes into the community, holding them accountable for the business that they do in the community. And of course, everyone wants to feel safe living in any community. So all of those things are going to be very important. But it also helps for us to make sure that we can afford basically what we're investing in.
Yeah, that brings up things to mind too. Mortgages. I think I was told that there was like 3 types of mortgages and stuff. And a lot of people are getting caught up in a lot of that. Could you explain some of the mortgages?
When I got my first house, I got what they would call an adjustable type mortgage. And what started to bother me was that after the first few months, the amount start to vary.
That's the one.
Yes, start to fluctuate a little bit, up and down. Started paying about $30, $40, maybe $50 more, as each month went by. And that was a learning curve for me. I wasn't expecting it. So within a short time, I had it changed from the adjustable to the fixed rate mortgage.
That's the one of the best ones.
There you go. I didn't like surprises at the end of the month, especially when your mortgage would tend to almost be guaranteed to go upward.
Right.
So I changed it over to the fixed rate mortgage, which means that you essentially see the same amount on your mortgage bill every month. Sometimes it's going to change some when you pay your property taxes, etc. Yes,
based on your taxes.
So, but other than that, you know what you're going to see at the end of the month.
Might just go on.
Just might. Just small fluctuations from there, but nothing big.
But now there are a lot of people who, because that fixed rate, usually your mortgage is a little bit more than the adjustable. The adjustable rate starts off real small in the beginning.
Correct.
There are a lot of people who can't really get into a house financially unless they have that adjustable. So what they do, they'll sell for the adjustable. You know, a lot of people don't know. It will go. Now, they may be told, you know, when they get it, you know, every 2 years, or maybe every 2 years after they get it, then you go up a little bit.
Yes.
2 years later, and find that 12
Well,
months after they got it, all of a sudden their mortgage is going up and
Correct.
keep going up, and eventually goes through the roof, and they can't afford to pay that kind of money.
well, actually, people have been participating in the adjustable rate mortgages for a long time.
Yeah.
And usually they would be able to maintain mortgage payments even with that adjustable. But what happened with the subprime lending was that they ended up signing on to 2 levels of mortgages. One that gave, of course, the lower rate of mortgage, and then after a certain period of time, there was something like a second mortgage that kicked in at a higher
rate,
at a higher percentage rate, and then the responsibility was upon them to pay the 2 mortgages concurrently. I don't know how
which is a drain.
which was definitely a drain. I don't understand how the agents and how the mortgage lenders could allow something like that to happen, because at the closing table, everyone would be basically aware about how much that person would be able to afford to pay for mortgage.
And that's causing a lot of the foreclosure rates right now that's out there in the market.
Definitely cost a lot in foreclosures. Once the mortgage payer understood the new terms that had kicked in on the contract, they were able to forecast their their own futures and their ability to afford the mortgages. And in effect, some of them did it in numerous ways. Some decided to just walk away from the house and turn it back over to the bank, while others, of course, contacted HUD counseling agencies and sought out other avenues to try to find a way to get a loan modification because they wanted to stay in their homes.
Okay. Now, considering, and this is a cute little question, considering the downturn in the real estate market and the bleak future that it has, what keeps you going?
Well, I very much believe in what I do. I came from one of these families in that if you're going to invest in anything, make sure you stick with it. I did that when I began to pursue my my post-secondary education. I knew I was going to take those tools and put them to work somehow, regardless of what I did. When I decided to go into the real estate field, I could not have seen some of the challenges, that we have endured over the past few years. But I was in it for the long haul.
For the long haul.
And so it's I guess overall, you ask what actually keeps me going. It's the energy. There's still energy in real estate.
In real estate, okay.
Yeah, good times or bad times, energy is still there.
Now I understand that you're also you're the vice chairman of the Clayton County Housing Authority, and tell me about how that enhances your realty profession.
Well, the Board of Commissioners appointed me to the Housing Authority of Clayton County. This particular branch of it is located in Forest Park. They did that in March of last year. And I'd like to first talk just a little bit about, what the Housing Authority is really about.
All right.
It's primarily designed to help middle class and lower income people to afford safe and sanitary housing. And the fact that I was already a realtor at the time just made it look like something that was fitting to do. I saw it as a great humanitarian effort, and for me to learn a bit more about the real estate industry. On the Housing Authority side, it was about public housing, of course. And the way that it has further enhanced my real estate skills is that now I get to work with multifamily type dwellings, because that's what this housing authority that I work with now deal with. I have about 432 units in a multifamily housing complex, and we hire a contractor to take care of the day-to-day operations of that. And we invested dearly in that, and it has, and it's proven to be a great investment for us.
That's a little different from the subdivision, though.
That's quite a bit different from the subdivisions, and so it just kind of heightens my skills and my knowledge a bit higher.
It gives you an opportunity to learn more about what's going on within the county and the county residents, and also assist those who are not as fortunate as others.
Most certainly, and of course that is playing out in a big way today, because for most of the first year, we were content with dealing with the multifamily housing situation, but the reality of the continuing problems of single-family houses and the foreclosures that we were seeing, we realized that we had a responsibility then to diversify our interests so that it met the immediate needs of what was going on in our county for the times.
And also, you can keep sort of like neighborhood stabilized.
Well, correct. What we extended our interest to under the Housing Authority of Clayton County now stands what we call the Clayton County Foreclosure Resource Center. We do have a website for everyone's information for that, which is www.ccfrc.com. And under the Clayton County Foreclosure Resource Center, it's really two-pronged. One side of it is for foreclosure prevention purposes, and the other side is neighborhood stabilization.
Okay, now you said foreclosure prevention. That's where you can assist people who are almost in foreclosure from actually going through the entire process.
Well, correct. The foreclosure prevention side of it deals with those people who may not even be in trouble right now, but that they can see down the future. You know, pretty soon things are going to really start getting testy. They could use the program for those individuals who may have gotten that first notice from the lender that says, hey, you did not pay enough, or you did not pay your mortgage at all. Those individuals who may be further down the road in missing payments, and the mortgage lenders say, well, look, we need to work on this. We can't keep this up, communicate with us or else. And it could also apply to those people in which the mortgage lender has given notice that they are in default on the house and that they plan on going with foreclosure proceedings. In all these categories, it's not too late to contact Clayton County Foreclosure Resource Center. Under this leg of it, we have counselors that can work with these individuals to communicate with their mortgage lenders. And of course, the overall goal is to help these people save their homes if the individuals want to do that.
Now, that Foreclosure Research Center, is that something indicative to most cities, or just here in Clayton County?
Well, Clayton County now has its own, but we have learned that a lot of cities have it. Even up in Metro Atlanta, they have their own mechanisms, that they have been dealing with for a while relative to foreclosure.
Right. Oh, even the people who have that what they call that mortgage that it gets bigger and bigger as it goes along.
Yes, it's subprime lending.
Take advantage of that.
Well, most definitely. For most of the people, I would say right now that's really seeing trouble. Are those people that got involved with the subprime loans, but of course you have some others out there who just got involved with bad loans, period. You got involved with some predatory lending.
Okay. Yeah. What else should we know about James Searcy?
Well, a few other things that people might want to know about me is that I am now about 51 years old, and I'm fortunate to say that it has been a very interesting road along the way.
Now, there are a lot of women who want to know
They're
not you're single.
yeah. I'm still single. You know, many people say typical sailor. When I joined the military, the Navy afforded me the opportunity to see many areas of the world.
Yes.
So I have been on at least one world tour. Been to all the continents around the world except for Antarctica, and I still do enjoy quite a bit of travel. Of course, many people already know that I'm very passionate about homeowner rights. And of course, now I'm getting more and more involved with the public housing aspects of it. The main thing is that I'm very committed in dealing with issues that affect people's daily lives. Very much into citizen rights. And
I'm part of that Clayton County Homeowners Association.
Clayton County-wide Homeowners Association. My first meeting went to that in 2005. Was invited to that by one of the current commissioners by the name of Sona Singleton. In fact, Sona Singleton has really popped up about, twice in my life and getting me involved in things going on in Clayton County. So, Sona, you're out there. I love you. Thank you for everything.
Okay.
But I really appreciate the faith and fact that she has in me. It's something that people was able to see in me that, that actually helped bring out all the leadership skills that I have been able to, share with the public, because I wasn't doing that before coming back to Clayton County.
You know that we've been having some difficulties with our school system. Because the Clayton County Board of Education was having some problems of their own.
Yes.
You'd be a good candidate for that.
Well, I actually did run for Clayton County School Board. Yes, I did. Last year I came in third place, and I learned a whole lot, from running in that. Had some good competition in there. Got my dose of local politics and what have, but still have my eye on the school system, still have concerns, because as you know, at this time, we still haven't earned our accreditation back.
Right.
And so in my district, the person who represents my particular district, of course, Charlton Bivens, one of the recent people who was voted into office, but I'm really still concerned about the school system.
You can run at large.
Can actually run at large. I feel much better working with the people that are currently in there. They have, that fantastic team of 9, and I'm even hearing stories that they are considering trying to roll that back a bit. So much of it is just a matter that even as citizens, we have responsibilities as citizens to keep abreast of what's going on with our schools.
I know you have a political action team out in your area.
Well, we have political action teams throughout Clayton County, but most of my political action these days take place from the walls of my own home. I love keeping aware of policy, whether it's at a national or local level, the economics and what have you. It's kind of hard for us to separate ourselves, from what's going on, on a national scope these days.
Right.
And I do a lot of blogging and whatnot. I certainly have a lot of opinions, and so it's not hard to find some of my comments on blogs and whatnot on the internet.
Point out to our Georgia senator who happens to be right now hassling with the President of the United States over a stimulus package. Point out to him that he didn't do that when he gave President Bush $700 billion.
Yes, I did see the one clip where Obama made reference to the fact that basically when he walked into office, he found that mess. He found that mess there, and so now where you hear a lot of noise about him being proactive and doing something,
right?
Even though
trying to clear up the whole mess.
It's a lot of money, yes, but something needs to be done.
And the thing of it is, when they gave Bush that money, the $700 billion.
It's over $700 billion, yes.
Yeah, $700 billion. They did not ask one time, would you do something for all of those social programs or all of those programs that they're talking to President Obama about now. They're considering that President Obama is not doing enough for this and enough for that. They didn't say anything about it when they gave it to Bush.
Okay, well, I would say to that is that it's all a part of politics, and somehow, some way, we must find a way to work with what we have.
Well, we're going to have to.
Yeah, oh yes.
We're going to have to.
Brand new president.
Anyway, thanks so very much for being
Absolutely.
with us.
Thank you so very much.
I'm happy that you shared that information with us, and I hope it can be of some assistance to some of the people here in this county.
Oh, thank you, sir, very much. It's been a pleasure.
Right. And as we continue on tonight, we want all of our viewers to remember at 8 o'clock tonight we have Rich Minds Online. That's the Hello World chat room. Rich Minds Online chat room. Rich Minds Online. That's RMO. Rich Minds Online, the Hello World chat room. You go to that. All your Hello World subscribers, you can go to that and join in with us, and you can chat about these $800 billion that they're talking about giving away. Anyway, we do appreciate you all joining us tonight. We'd like for you all to join us again. Every Sunday we're here, Sunday at 7. Every Sunday at 7 we're here. And this is What's Next. Thank you so very much for joining us, and we'll talk with you later.